Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I would like to introduce you to another group I would like to work on this 2024, and that's BABYMONSTER. Now, this is a group that a lot of you have talked non-stop in my comments before they even debuted. Have they even debuted? Honestly, with how groups are promoting nowadays, this fourth generation, I have no clue what's going on. Like, I feel so out of the loop with these newer groups. And the way that they're promoting, I'm like, have you debuted it yet, or are we still in the pre-releases type of thing? Like when EXO did it, I was so confused. I was like, what is going on? Turns out that their debut song is Mama and not What Is Love, and I'm just okay, whatever. Enough rant. Anyway, so I thought, after I listened to one of their songs, was it Butter Up? I was like, that song is so good. I really enjoyed it because it made me feel so nostalgic. It felt kind of old school, kind of old K-pop, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, and I was like, you know what? I do not mind keeping like an eye out for them. I'll be completely honest. Survival shows, I fucking hate them. I'm not about that life. So all this groups that came from a survival show, I did not watch the survival show. Did not hear about it. Did not care. So that's why I'm letting you know. When you guys are asking me about the group, I'm like, look, it's YG. Until the group comes out or we hear something more concrete about them, I'm not doing anything in regards to them. And now that they have taken a list, like 2 music videos of sorts, I'm like, I'm okay with it. Let's work on them. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So this video is a group prediction for 2024 for BABYMONSTER, and we're going to check 3 different questions. Question number 1 is going to be the current energy, just to see how the group is doing right now. Question number 2 is going to be the group prediction for their career this year. And then question number 3 will be any advice and healing messages. In the description below, I will have the timestamps in case you want to like jump around between questions. And if not, let's just continue with the video, and I will start with the first question. But before we start with that, I would like to, a little disclaimer that since this is a new group, I'm not expecting any individual activities. Therefore, I will not do the second part of my second question, which I'm saying that for those of you that have seen my other group predictions, and I did do that second question, which was like the individual career predictions. But since this is a very new group, I'm not expecting them to have any individual schedules, and because of that, I'm not gonna do that. Just FYI, just letting you know. Okay. So now let's jump into their current energy. So what's BABYMONSTER's current energy? A lot of cards came out. Actually, I don't mind taking them out. So we have the Queen of Cups, the Fool reverse, then we have the Two of Cups with Death, and then we have 9 of Pentacles. You know what? Let me just have them out. 8 of Swords reverse, King of Swords upright, and the 3 of Wands reverse. Okay, so we have a lot of cards on the table. Oh wait, quite literally, we have a lot of cards on the table. Okay, so what is the group's current energy? There's a lot of energy right now. There's a lot of things going on. So the first card that pop up, facing up, is the Queen of Cups. So this kind of shows that right now the group feels pretty confident in themselves. Their creative energy is flowing, their intuition is doing well, their emotions are pretty grounded. The Queen of Cups represents Scorpio energy, so many of them are ready for transformation, are ready for change. Many of them are ready to show what they're passionate about. It seems like many of them are very excited to be in the group. Many of them are excited to be on stage or are looking forward to the idol life. And by that I mean performing wise. I don't know if they're super enthusiastic about the full package of being an idol, which is a whole thing about being a celebrity, doing social media, interacting with fans, and then of course the love and the hate that comes with the industry, the expectations and disappointments that come with the industry. There's a whole lot of things that they're going to encounter with this journey since they just debuted. So this Queen of Cups, this tells me that many of them are quite ready for what's ahead of them. And what I mean quite ready is, like, I'm not saying that they know what's gonna happen, and I'm not saying that they're fully prepared for it, but what I mean is, like, good or bad, they're like, let's just go forward, let's see what happens. So I mentioned that the group was ready for change and transformation, and I'm saying that because we have the death card right here, and death usually represents end and a beginning, the death or a rebirth of someone and of a situation as well. And it's supposed to be like this change, this metamorphosis, when you go from a little caterpillar and you go into your cocoon and then become beautiful as a butterfly, right? So there's this, and also it's underneath the Fool, which the Fool represents a new beginning, a new chapter. The Fool is supposed to be like the hero of our journey, right? And the journey here is the Major Arcana for the Fool. The Fool is the first card in the Major Arcana deck, section of the deck, and usually the Fool is also supposed to represent someone that's taking like a leap of faith. It's supposed to represent someone that is taking that initiative, that first step into a new journey. But with it being reversed, it could show that there's a bit of hesitation, or there's a bit of worry or fear or doubt that could be holding them back. But honestly, with the first card that popped out, I think that the group, of course, they're human, they have fears, as we will talk about in a little bit, but currently the group's in a state where they're looking forward to all of this newness. They're looking forward to this new journey, this new chapter, all of the good and the bad that comes with it. Many of them are pretty inexperienced with this industry, yet they're looking forward to it. Like, they're excited for it. They seem to be emotionally and mentally preparing themselves for the unknown. But this Fool reverse kind of shows me that even though they're ready for change, as we saw with the death card, with the Fool being reversed, it kind of just shows that they're not quite yet in the beginning stages of their journey. As like, I feel like there's a certain, how should I put it, it feels like even though they're taking stuff out, they haven't fully started that journey quite yet. So even if they're preparing for it, or even if they're taking things out, they haven't really started with a real thing. I don't really know what a real thing means in regards to like what they're doing right now, but that's kind of what I'm getting at. I guess it's of those things that taking some songs out here and there doesn't really mean that they have debuted. You know how I mentioned that with this fourth iteration, I'm so out of the loop. So who knows, maybe they haven't debuted yet. And over here, like, so they barely started, So, correct me if I am wrong in that case. Have they debuted or not? I do not know. Let me know. Now, the other card that we have right here is the Two of Cups underneath the Queen of Cups. This kind of shows me that many of them feel very confident and feel very stable, at least emotionally and intuitively. Like, they are trusting their gut feelings, they're trusting their intuition, they're trusting that, like, those warning signs, like when they don't feel comfortable with something, they pay attention to those signs. Now, the reason why this Two of Cups seems so important to me is that it could show that they have a very strong connection to their higher selves, or they have a very good connection with their subconscious and their conscious side. So what they're aware of and what they're not aware of, those two sides are very well balanced individually for all of them. The other thing that I'm getting, though, is that I do feel that the group does get along. And this Two of Cups could show that because to me, the Two of Cups, especially in the Happy Tarot, the Two of Cups makes me think of friendship, best friends, soulmates. But of course, not romantic soulmates. And usually, the Two of Cups is supposed to talk about a union between two people that goes beyond the physical. It's supposed to be like an emotional, spiritual union between people, right? And it usually shows two, usually a woman and a guy, are like exchanging cups, right? And it's supposed to kind of symbolize like the spiritual exchange of energy of sorts. But to me, this card right now represents that currently the group is trying to figure out their dynamics. They're trying to either get to know each other and get along and figure out where they all stand as a group and like what their role is. And when I mean their role, I don't necessarily mean like who's a singer, who's a dancer, who's a rapper. Not necessarily that. I mean like more the dynamic. You know, when you have a family, there's a hierarchy, there's a role that everyone plays. So this is what I mean, that this is what the group is doing right now. Currently, some are figuring out like who are the comfort people, who are the initiators, who are the what is it called, the ones that see the bigger picture, but who are the ones that are pushing for like the now, the present, right? That's kind of what I mean. Like, those are like the roles that they're all kind of situating themselves into, or like working on, if that makes sense. So that's one part. That's kind of like the intuitive spiritual side of the group right now. Like, they're figuring out their dynamics. If they're aware of it or not, I'm not too sure, but they're working on that. Now, the other side that we have right here is some of the issues that they're currently having, which to me do not feel too serious, but I think we should still talk about them. Now, what I mean that they're not too serious is like, I think this is normal because they're barely starting their career. So the Nine of Pentacles reversed, it will represent someone that doesn't feel financially stable, or because Pentacles talks about money, it talks about career and health. So with it in reverse, I think many of them currently don't feel super stable in their career and don't feel financially super stable or independent either. And many of them don't feel that knowledgeable in the industry that they're in, as well as with how to deal with their money. So this card in reverse to me seems pretty normal because many of them are still young and are barely starting or barely taken off in their career. So it's very normal for them to not feel super stable in it because anything can happen. And also they haven't really established a very strong foundation as a group because they're barely starting, right? They haven't really shown the industry, this is who we are and this is where we stand. This is what we're all about. They haven't reached that point because they're barely starting. It's normal. Now, the other card that we have right here is the Eight of Swords reverse, which is a good card to have reversed. The Eight of Swords upright usually talks about someone that is in their mental prison. They're overthinking something. They are limiting beliefs holding them back. There's fears and doubts that are getting in the way. And because of that, this person could feel like they're trapped. But it's an illusion, right? Because this Eight of Swords usually shows that this is all mental. This is all their own thinking, right? Their own undoing were the words that came up. But with this card in reverse, it kind of shows that many of them are aware of their insecurities, are aware of the limitations of their knowledge and experience. And because of that, many of them are looking forward to still pushing forward to get things done. And many of them are focusing on themselves right now. Not in a way where it gets in the way of the group's dynamic as much as many of them are just trying to concentrate on improving and growing and working on their own insecurities, which is beautiful. That will definitely help them in the long run. If many of them have a strong foundation as individuals, it will make it easier to work as a group, because then they will be able to communicate what the strengths and weaknesses are to each other. Now, the other card that we have here is the Three of Wands reverse. So to me, the Three of Wands upright usually feels like a good time for contracts. But with it in reverse, I do feel that many of them are not super aware of their contract or not super aware of the promises that were made under this contract, right? Like, I think many of them don't realize what it means to be told what to do, or are not fully aware of the weight that a contract means. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that quite yet because they're young. So I don't think, even if someone tells you this is important, it's valuable, you don't really know how much something like that could hold you back unless you experience it, right? Because only then, by going through that experience, do you know how restricting it was for you as an individual, right? That's why I do feel that with them, this is not necessarily a super bad card as much as it's like, just kind of like it's normal since they're young and inexperienced. It's normal. This is the first time that they're doing this, and they're going to have to experience this to learn from it, basically. But the other thing with the Three of Wands, usually the Three of Wands could talk about someone that's thinking of expanding, and also like external help coming in. That's why when I saw this card reverse, I was thinking that many of them are just working on themselves. They're not really looking out for others to help them and give them information and stuff, as much as they're just kind of focusing on themselves to grow and improve and learn. So I think that's why this card is still not bad with it being reversed. It's like many of them are just thinking of their own goals and are focusing on themselves as individuals and trying to improve themselves, which I mentioned could be very, very important and relevant for them in the long run. Because then, again, everyone will be able to say, this is what I'm willing to compromise with. Because I know what I am and I know who I want to be and I know what I want in life, right? So then, there you go. Okay, the other card that we have right here is the King of Swords. Now, currently, it's just like with this King of Swords, many of them, this is Libra energy, by the way. Many of them are working in a state where they're learning how to clear their mind to think clearly about what they want, what their goals are, especially when it comes to their job and their career. Many of them are thinking, okay, this is what I want out of this is how I can accomplish it, this is how I can go about it. Many of them are learning how to be very eloquent and very well spoken. So if I'm correct, many of them are foreigners, so I wonder if that could mean that many of them are learning how to speak Korean fluently, to be able to understand things clearly. The other thing that I'm getting, though, is that many of them are also clearing their mind so they can speak their mind and say exactly what they're thinking and not feel like there's any sort of misunderstandings or miscommunication. The King of Swords could represent someone that is very mature in their field, and in this field with swords is like a clear mind, clear way of communicating, so someone that's very eloquent, and also someone that can be a bit detached, right? So someone that can think about things in a logical manner. And this King of Swords could represent that right now many of them are working, when it comes to emotions, they're working on grounding it and focusing on staying motivated and being connected to their intuition. And then when it comes to their business aspect, many of them, this King of Swords kind of feels like they're working on staying informed, speaking their mind, and also when they have questions, they ask them. So they're trying to have very clear communication, and they're trying to be logical about their next steps and how they're going to do things. And that's why they are aware of their inexperience, as well as they're aware of the things that they have to work on. And right now they're focusing on themselves to overcome any sort of limitations that they may see at the moment. So like if some of them goes like, yeah, I'm a good singer, but I need to work on my dancing, then that's what they're doing. They're focusing on their weaknesses to get the information and lessons necessary to improve on that. That's kind of what I'm getting. So currently, they're working on just becoming better. Let's start on the second question, which is the group prediction. So, what is in store for Baby Monster's career this 2024? We have a new start is coming with a new moon, which new moons represent a new journey, a new chapter, and a new experience. And then the other card that we have right here is full moon in Scorpio, with it's time to release negativity. And a full moon usually talks about being at the peak energy of something. It's like the energy has built up for this moment. There is a lot of this energy at the moment. And the thing that, so currently what the group is working on is like they're starting in this new journey. This, they're barely starting into this whole like K-pop business. But the other thing that they're working on is to let go of limiting beliefs with this Scorpio energy. We saw it earlier with the Death card, and the Queen of Cups is also Scorpio energy. So they have a lot of this, how should I put it? Scorpio is a sign that will willingly put themselves in a situation for growth. A Scorpio is a type that when they notice that something doesn't work for them, they get rid of it from the root. So I'm saying because in modern astrology, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is a planet of transformation. And those transformations can be quite harsh and can be like super life-changing. Also, Scorpio is a type of sign that kind of does work on getting rid of their shell. They really work hard on getting rid of old skin. So in this case, I do feel that the group is working on, right now, in this 2024, they're going to be working on constantly changing. So I don't think any of them are going to be set in a certain role or label, because many of them are going to try to stay flexible to change and adapt to their environment. Scorpio is a fixed sign, so whatever their priorities are, whatever their core values are, that doesn't change. Scorpios can be quite stubborn as well. However, with this whole thing of it's time to release negativity, I do feel that many of them are working very hard on letting go of any insecurity, any fear, and any doubt that could get in the way of their improvement and on their ability to change and adapt. But let's take out some tarot. So what is in store for Baby Monster's career this 2024? Okay, that's a more reasonable number. 3 cards. So you have the 7 of Pentacles, the 7 of Swords, and the Ace of Cups, which is beautiful. So this 2024, the group is going to be very patient, because the 7 of Pentacles talks about like planting the seeds and then just waiting for them to grow and bear fruit. And when it bears fruit, that's when you can reap the rewards of your hard labor, right? So this kind of just shows that right now the group's career this year is going to be one where they're just planting the seeds. They're just putting out what's necessary. Okay, no. Yes, they're putting out what's necessary, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get to the 7 of Swords. And they're just slowly letting things take the course of time, right? I think with time we're going to see their growth. With time we're going to see their worthiness and value within the industry, if that makes sense. I'm saying it that way because I feel that many of them are working hard to prove their worth in the industry, to prove that they have a place in the industry. It's kind of like a sense of like people have expectations on them. And this year they're going to work very hard to show that they can meet those expectations that people have on them, right? So I do feel that from their part, they're going to do a lot of hard work to be out there in the industry and to promote well. So they're going to work hard from their part. And they're going to be super patient to allow time to do its thing. So it's kind of like they understand, or maybe this year what they're going to do is that they're going to work very hard to take out promotional work, and then they'll just kind of sit back and allow the results to speak for themselves, that kind of thing. But it's going to pay off because they're going to work hard in the making of things that people will be able to see it, I think. Even if they're not aware of it, people will see it. Now the other card. So the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords to me has always talked about betrayals and lies. However, I don't think this is what we're talking about this year. Not at all. Especially because it's between two good cards. The Seven of Swords, in this case, is talking about selective information. So that's why I was kind of getting into that when I talked earlier about the Seven of Pentacles. So there's going to be things that the group is doing right now that we're not going to know about until much later. So maybe the concept that they're planning for, it's going to be something that's going to go beyond a year, or maybe the plans that the company has for them is something that we of course are not going to know about until like their promotional stuff starts coming out. So this Seven of Swords just kind of feels like there's a bit of deception in the sense that there's just so much that will go out to the public and to the surface, and the rest is going to stay behind the scenes, basically, which I think is pretty normal when it comes to this type of work, right? Like, you don't really want to say the stuff that you want to do because you can't say for sure if you can go through with it, right? This year, there's a lot of things that they want to do and a lot of things that they're planning for, but there's just so much information that will go out there to the public because nothing is quite set in stone, nothing is fully concrete, right? There's some things that they kind of have to wait. It kind of feels like if the group reaches some sort of milestone, then we, being the company, can push for them to do this other stuff as well. That kind of thing, right? Like, again, that kind of goes back to them proving their worth type of thing. Now, the other card that I have right here is the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups tells me that the group has a lot of water energy. However, despite having all of this water energy, the group is still quite logical, or I'm not going to say practical because that's usually the word that I think of when I think of earth signs. But there's this sense of being quite, like, they're able to take action because they're still grounded in reality. But they have a lot of water energy, which makes me think that many of them just trust in destiny. They trust in fate. They trust in the journey. They trust in the process. You know, all of those words that usually go with spirituality, they're there. There's this, I guess Scorpio is the best way to describe their energy. It's like they have this water that gives them their ability to be connected to their emotions and have this depth. But, Scorpio is also, in traditional astrology, is connected to Mars. And Mars is a planet of just taking action, being driven, and motivated. And to me, it is a planet that does talk about work because my Mars is in my 6th house. That's why. So all of my Mars energy it's concentrated in my work. Anyway, so this kind of just shows that they're able to connect to the depths of their emotions and their intuition and their creativity, but they're also able to take action on those feelings, take action on those creative ideas, and just get things done, basically. So that's why I feel like there's this balance of being grounded in reality, so they're able to not only daydream about their goals, but they're able to put them into action, basically. But let's go on to the last question, which is the advice and healing for Baby Monster. So 3 cards kind of fell. We have Show the World the Real You with the full moon in Aquarius. We have New Moon in Taurus with Prosperity Lies Ahead. And then we have a full moon in Capricorn with the end of a tough cycle. Yeah, it kind of feels like the universe, we saw earlier with this Ace of Cups, that the universe will offer to them some form of this happily ever after, I'm thinking, because I'm thinking of the 10 of Cups now, because the 10 of Cups usually has a rainbow. It feels like the universe is offering them this opportunity for them to be free, be creative, be connected to spirit, and just allowing their emotions to flow freely and happily. And the advice for them is something similar to that. With Show the World the Real You, is like, just do what you love, do what makes you happy, do what motivates you, what you enjoy, because I feel that kind of just shows that that's the most genuine way of achieving their goals by them themselves being genuine. It's like if they show the world who they really are, you know, the good and the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if they show all of that, then they will be able to reach far. I'm not necessarily saying that they have to show to the public like their weaknesses and their private anything. Like if they want to keep something private to themselves, that's perfectly fine. That is still them. You know what I mean? It's like they don't have to show to the public the all of the things that make them happy, all the things that make them sad, all of their thoughts and their ideas. They don't have to express that to the public and to everyone. But if they feel called out to doing that, then they can go ahead. You know, just do that responsibly. You know, are we in the mental awareness month, or am I crazy for just seeing a bunch of that kind of thing? And I don't mean this literally like crazy. I mean this like, or has it just popped out a lot in my timeline and I just haven't realized that it's just random? You know what they say, the first time is an accident, the second time is a coincidence, and the third time is a pattern. Yeah, I think I've seen it enough times to think it's a pattern. Anyway, so all I'm saying is that the girls still have to take care of themselves and have to be careful. So the advice here is like, of course, be as genuine and show the world the real you. But if there's something that you don't feel comfortable sharing, don't share it. If you don't feel, you know, be aware that the internet is still very brutal. A lot of people hide behind the internet to say what they want to say. And sometimes it is... I am not one to say what is worth being opinionated on or not. But I do feel that some people should keep some things to themselves. Some people can be quite brutal in the internet without realizing that we're all people at the end of the day. Genuinely, we can make mistakes. And also, people assume a lot. We do this in like all the time as people, but I think in the internet it's even worse because some people can't catch the things that we can perceive when you have a person in front of you, right? Like on the internet, you can't hear someone's tone, you can't see someone's body language, and you can't get live feedback on their reaction to things, right? So you know, the way that we use our intuition in person has to be adapted differently in the internet. And I feel people are not aware how to adjust to it, basically. That's what I'm getting at. Now, the other card that we have right here with Prosperity Lies Ahead, with this new moon in Taurus, it kind of goes back to the Seven of Pentacles. It feels like there is a lot of rewards and a lot of good things coming out for them in their career. So I think there is this promise of success. There is this promise of everything that they need and everything that they want, they will get it. Even if it's not the way that they thought they would. You know, it's basically how the universe works. It's like if there's something that you want, you get it. You really do. And there are times, I feel like I'm just teaching life lessons here. There are times that we ask for something and we don't realize that that's not really what we want. And what I mean by that is like, the best way I can describe it is with love. So I'll go with that. No, but then that doesn't really fit with a group. Let's go about career. Maybe there's times that you go like, I want to be in this project. I want to be in this project because of these reasons. And that's that's where there's that disconnect. That's when the universe goes like, wait a minute. You want this project, but then you're giving me these reasons. But because, as humans, we're limited in our view. We only have our point of view and our perspective to kind of like guide us towards life. But, the universe and like our spiritual team are able to see things from a different point of view, from a different perspective. And they kind of go like, okay, you want this project. However, the reasons that you gave me as to why you want it don't match. And the reason why they don't match is because our spirit guides are able to see, or like the universe is able to see things that we can't see from our point of view. And therefore they're able to say, the things that you want, I can give you those things, but that project is not the way to go. This other one is actually better. And I think this is where the group kind of needs to understand that like the best advice is that they will get everything that they want and everything that they need for their success and for their career. However, it may not come in the packaging that they had originally asked for or they thought they would get it in. So they should exercise a bit of flexibility. I don't think that's much of an issue with the group as much as it's just kind of like just a food for thought, or just be aware. Keep that in the back of your mind. Also, I do have to say that Taurus energy is a very good energy to use when you're manifesting. As I always repeat it in my channel, and I just don't know if you guys are aware, so I always say it. To me, all the Tauruses in my life are super good at manifesting. It's like they say, I want this, and they get it. And I think it's because of their ability to just accept the rewards that life has to give them. So they're not afraid of like how it comes to them. They're not afraid of just receiving from the universe, because some people are closed off to that. It's like they have this mentality of like, I have to work hard, I have to earn it. Right? I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie. So it becomes harder to just kind of receive the blessings of the world. So that's kind of what I'm getting at with Baby Monster as well. Like, the advice is just be ready to receive all of these rewards from the universe. Now, the other card that we have right here is the full moon in Capricorn with the end of a tough cycle approaches. I do feel that the end of a tough cycle for Baby Monster will be, like, right now they're in a place where they're still proving if they're worth it as a group. And when I mean worth it in this case, I mean if they have a place in the industry, and if they, from a business perspective, can bring in the numbers necessary for success. That's kind of what I'm getting at with worth it. Because we, as humans, we're all worth it, always. And that's why this is not what I'm talking about. In this case, I'm seeing it from the point of view of the industry that they're in and the business that they're part of. Right? So this, Capricorn energy is all business-like in that sense. Very career-focused. All earth signs are very goal-orientated, which is, in this case, Taurus and Capricorn, as well as Virgo, but we don't have any Virgo on the table. But the thing here as well is, like, I do feel that the end of the tough cycle is that they will eventually reach a point where they will the group will reach a point where they're more stable, therefore they don't feel like they have to prove something, and that will bring them the relaxation or the comfort necessary to just do their work and not feel like at any moment everything could fall apart, or at any moment they will be thrown into the YG dungeon and never to be seen again. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And I think they will be very successful at showing that they want to be in the industry, that they want to promote, and that they have what they need and what's necessary to survive in the industry that they're in. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So the advice here is to not give up. I was kind of getting that already when I was talking about this Taurus energy, because one of the things that I talk about Taurus usually as well is their ability to persevere, their ability to not give up. And that's kind of what I was getting at before. And now that I've finished with this full moon in Capricorn, that's kind of the last bit of advice for the group. Be yourself, know that you will be rewarded, and don't give up, because they will eventually reach the stability that they're aiming for in their career. So yeah, I hope you guys like this reading. I really enjoyed it. They had a bunch of beautiful things going on for them. I genuinely do not know what's up. I have not really kept up on my Baby Monster lore as much as I have done is just watch their songs when they have taken them out. Which, I mean, the only ones that I've watched is Batter Up, and then the newest one that they took out, which was like in the middle or something like that, which I have to listen to again. I only listened to it once. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. I hope you guys learned from this, or at least found it entertaining. Feel free to comment down below what you thought about this reading. I thought they got a lot of good things, so I do look forward to what Baby Monster has in store for us this 2024. And I really do hope that YG does not just like push them to the side and goes like, okay, give me a new shiny toy, I want new things. It's like, I kind of want to see the group grow, and I want to see them promote, and because many of them looked so happy when they were like singing in Batter Up. Like, you will see them perform on like those like dance performances and on the music video, and they looked like rookies. They looked like people that wanted to be on stage. And honestly, I think that's something that is missing in the fourth generation. I think in the fourth generation, they have, the concept or the vibe has been pushed for something a bit more serious and like professional, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to see good performances. But then it becomes a bit robotic, or it can be a bit restricting for those people that just kind of, they're young, they're kids, and they just want to be on stage and perform, right? Or at least some of them. Others were just kind of, this is where life took me, here I am, right? But maybe that's why we should have fresh concepts come back again, because it's nice to, during a fresh concept, that's when you see the people that enjoy being on stage just genuinely enjoy being on stage. A raw youth, basically. Anyway, enough of my tangent, enough of my rant. Thank you so much for watching. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.